are going to be crowned your champions of the K7 League. Folks, welcome to K7.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you lost, oh, I will take your hand and we'll rise up from the dust. Oh,
first kill there by Kilt. The frags rolled on the second. It's going to be big. Rejects is there. Now Dassin trying to make a play. Will go for one. Tries to pre-fire onto the second from behind. Here comes Atomic for two.
this is what we know. Here we come back to life, still breathing. Standing up, everybody's gonna see it. Oh, all you need to know is that we're holding on. Even if we fall, we will rise up and we follow the path that we believe in. No, we're not gonna
Hello and welcome everybody. I'm Shifty here, joined by Alex McCormish. Are you ready for this?
It's time, baby. Kill it back to the middle of the map. Rejects gonna slide out.
Goes in, slays people out, especially with the atomic on
Sure, Light on the staircase. Actually, they get killed by a reject there. You already see Killa back over towards the top house by P2.
We have been waiting so long for the season to begin.
Evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Graf the Giraffe, also known as Dak737. I am here with my man, that one guy as well. We are going to be starting off the K7 COD League, and I'm so excited for this league to be able to start back up. And that one guy, like, just introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about yourself and the league.
Yeah, I'll be joining here with Giraffe here, as you can see off to my left over there on the screen. Yeah, we're going to be casting over here the day 2 of K7 League. We're just getting started. This is where the league starts to ramp up. This is where you start to see these teams on full display. Today's matchup, we got Lurk Blue versus Team KGK. And yeah, I'm excited to see KGK play again. I saw them a little bit in the kickoff that we did a little bit early, the preseason game matchup. And it was nice to see them, though. They were playing a Plague Nation, which is a roster that hadn't played there. Came in here for a lovely little tribute to Oki. But overall, from what I saw from them, they seem to have a lot of their fundamentals down, like with the rotations that they've kind of gotten over all their flow. It looks like they could have some competition that they can bring to the table. But we'll have to see. Lurk, a team I don't really know, but nonetheless, still excited to see how these two teams will end up to be stacked.
Yeah, absolutely. And a little fun fact about Lurk Blue, they actually were in the Florida Mutineers LAN tournament. I believe it was either earlier this summer or last year, and they ended up placing third. So you got to keep that on the radar. These guys have been together for quite some time, and you got to feel like the chemistry is going to be a thing that Team KGK has got to look out for. And I'm just super excited to be able to see these guys play, and I just want a good series, and I think everybody does as well. But I think right now with KGK, you were saying you've seen them earlier and you're really expecting a lot out of them. I feel like I gotta go with the dark horse here, Lurk Blue. I don't know much about them either, but I just being able to place third in a LAN such as, hosted by the Florida Mutineers, that's got to say something, and I think they're going to be able to show out tonight.
Yeah, and speaking of tonight, we'll go into the maps that we got going on tonight for this particular series. We're going to be heading into a Berlin for the map 1, the Heart Point, followed by a Bocage S&D, and then after that will be a Bocage Hard Point, followed by a Tuscan Hard Point, and a Berlin S&D to close off the series. If we get to that oh-so-special, love to see it, map 5.
Yeah, and one map that I'm extremely excited to look forward to is it's Hardport Bocage. I mean, everybody, I'm not sure if you guys caught the CDL this weekend, but it was just absolute chaos on that map. And I've actually casted quite a few maps that have gone to the time limit, believe it or not, because everybody is so quick right off the spawns. You'll get a clean wipe, and 3 seconds later, the enemy team is right back on you. So it is absolute chaos in the match, and I'm so excited to see which team is going to be able to thrive in the chaos. And that's going to be, I think, one of the biggest factors. And not to mention, now that there's 3 hard points in the rotation, you got to think the team that can slay out and play fundamentally is going to have the edge here. But once again, if we do end up going to that Berlin S&D, that is such like a very slow paced map, and you have to be extremely methodical on your rotations and make sure you don't get picked early.
Yeah, and talking about the map one that we got, the Berlin Hardpoint. I am excited to see that one be played on now. I haven't really seen a whole lot of games starting on Berlin, so for me, this is a little bit of a change of pace. Definitely a little bit of a slower map. But one that I like to say is more of a one of the fundamentals of some of the Call of Duties. You got to get the rotations in. You got to balance getting the scrap time with getting those rotations on these hills, and the AR presence mixed with the SMG. This one can have a good balance. There's a good mix of hills that sort of revolve around SMG presence and a few that are really very, very heavily influenced by the ARs. So, I mean, we'll have to see. I think this one is definitely a good test to see which teams can sort of right off the gate have that sort of general comms and communication down and coordination.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. There's definitely specific hills in this rotation that are going to be extremely interesting. I think specifically on that Railroads Hill, that's where you got to let your ARs reign supreme. You cannot let anybody get on those back flanks, and it seems like a hill that you should be able to get a full 60 on, but it always tends to be a lot more scrappier than people realize. And so I think the ARs are going to really dominate in this map one. So we'll see who ends up having the edge, but I know a player that I'm looking forward to in Lurk Blue especially is MATCHDAY. I don't know what it is about that name, but I feel like that's just an AR type of name. Am I right? Like, so I'm just super excited to see what these guys can bring together, and especially, like I said, placing third in that LAN, it's going to be extremely interesting to watch.
Yeah, a little bit sticking to the Lurk Blue roster that we got going on. We got Schizo, MATCHDAY, Zapio, Gunny. I hope I'm saying those names correctly. Sometimes I tend to butcher them, but you know what? It's what we got today. And it should be an interesting thing to see them play because, again, like you said, we were talking about earlier about the LAN performances. This is a team that I don't really know, at least haven't seen play much of. The guy, maybe a little bit of tidbit like Team Lurk Blue, maybe the name, or Lurk in general. Like I sort of started to see them, but like they're not main set names to me at the moment.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. And let's go over to the side of the KGK roster. You have the captain. His name will be Cal. You got Huncho, Comet, and Puzzled. One player that I've had the pleasure of being able to play is Huncho. I played him back about a year and a half ago in a Modern Warfare, and that guy was absolutely beaming with the AR. So he was, I believe, a flex role, but he ended up placing, I know, either second or third in this tournament that we played against him. He was absolutely phenomenal. Once again, I mean, before I was Graph the Draft, I was called Graph the Gunny, but Huncho, he was absolutely beaming me. I could not get anything going against him. So he is one player that I think is you got to look out for in this series, especially for Team KGK.
Yeah, after that, took the Gunny right out of the name. But yeah, it should be interesting to see definitely how these players will stack up against each other as we wait for this match to get going. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to see these players in terms of the performance. KGK, I've seen play Kyle there. I saw a little bit of it. It's the player that I remember, which I didn't really get confirmation last time around, but overall, if I remember correctly, I believe he was an AR role, at least, and should be an all right thing to see from him. And the rest of the rosters here, again, like this first map, it's going to be so dependent on the ARs. This is one of those maps where your ARs really need to be on point, be in the back of your spawn, watching the rotation. Those are going to be huge on this map. And again, a little bit of an interesting one to start off with, but I'm excited to see how these two teams can get off to and what they can perform.
Yeah, no, you're right. In the ARs, they're going to have to be able to start off hot on Berlin. But I've seen a lot of teams where they were extremely slow in the map one, and then they didn't start to heat up until possibly the end of that S&D map two. Because I've seen teams absolutely get smacked in map one, map two, and then it's just like a switch, just like that, and then they just absolutely start beaming. And so once again, I think this game does a phenomenal job on the maps. Vanguard, I know, might not necessarily be a fan favorite Call of Duty, but one thing you cannot deny is I think they did an extremely good job with at least making these maps competitive, and it just feels like the flow of this game is so much smoother than a lot of these other Call of Duties that we've had in the past. And at least for me, since I've been casting in these 4v4s, it's by far the most fast-paced Call of Duty, and they had the guns to be able to match it with the MP40 being a very dominant submachine gun. And then the automaton, it's just fun to use. It's just such an absolute beam. And I love how they didn't make it a 30-round magazine, made it 25. So it doesn't allow everybody just to like completely hold down the trigger. It makes you have to preserve those shots and, make everything count when you're getting in those gunfights.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, and certainly as we look to start up the map, the map won the Berlin off the bat. I don't know what sides are, but I am expecting a very aggressive push. But I think in some cases, like a lot of teams have started to play a little bit more mid area a little bit. At least sort of watching that, and I think if they sort of get a hint that hey, there's a lot of pressure on the objective here. If we're on the other side of the map, we can rotate over a little bit, put some pressure, try and flip those spawns off the bat, but. We'll have to see how this one plays out. Certainly, if you're on the hill, you don't really want to be pushing too far out of that P1.
Yeah, no, it's on the P1. It's going to be a grudge match. Like that's going to be a submachine gun type of point. But then when you go to that P2, it's also another submachine gun heavy right in that library. And then where it kind of changes is that P3 where you go to that fire / P3 pillars hill. And you can actually, I've seen a lot of teams hold it from the front, even when they do not have the spawn. And you kind of even see that in bouquets, especially when you're in like bottom grandmas. There's just so many angles you have to look at when you're trying to break in that hill. It just it makes it extremely impossible. You have to be able to suffocate that enemy team and make sure that you're getting those picks kind of fading back, make them have to look the eyes off of the one line of sight that they were on prior and just allow your team to basically squeeze the life out of them and get that break. But I've seen a lot of teams on that P3 Fire Pillars Hill do a phenomenal job holding it from the front. And like you said earlier, it's a lot about those scrap times. Since this is a 4v4, there's going to be a lot of 1v1s for the last 15 to 10 seconds. And I don't think people realize how important those last scrap seconds can be, because unlike other Call of Duties, people would be rotating, at 30 seconds. And in this game where where these maps are a lot smaller, they don't have to worry about that as much. So they're fighting for a lot more of this scrap time. So I think the teams are going to be able to win the majority of that scrap time, even if they aren't playing fundamentally sound, can keep the game close or even potentially win it.
Yeah, and now as we look to start the game again, hopefully soon. That's getting some messages that we're getting there. We're getting close. But before we get into it, who do you think is going to win, and what do you think the scoreline is actually going to be? Like, again, we don't know a whole lot, but just off the bat, what's the instinct going into it? Is it based on names? Are you trying to go on some stats?
See, that's a tough one for me. I really want to say Team KGK because I've played against Huncho in the past because he's an absolute beast. But I don't know, placing third in a LAN tournament, especially when there's a lot of teams in Florida that are high competition. I gotta go with Lurk Blue. I think they're going to take this series. Not necessarily in an easy fashion. I think a lot of these maps are going to be close, but I think they're going to be taking it in a 3-1.
You stole the number right out of my head. See, I was thinking Lurk Blue maybe 3-1, but now now that you said it, I kind of want to be different. Again, like I saw KGK play. I saw some things that I liked out of them. I saw some things that I didn't really like out of them. We'll have to see if those kind of stay true to this once you're playing again in the lead. Now this is where it starts to count. It's still early, so definitely a loss is something you can 100% just bounce back from. But yeah, based on the land stuff, based on just sort of what I'm hearing about Lurk Blue in general, I would have to go with probably a 3-1, though I think that this could have the potential to go to a 3-2. And you know what? If I'm wrong, I would love to be proven wrong, honestly. That's what I love about Call of Duty sometimes, is you make a prediction and you're just absolutely wrong. And some people roast you, or even in the chat, people are like, "Oh, those are wrong predictions from the very start." But that's what we're here for. The controversy.
No, you're absolutely right. And that's a great thing about Call of Duty. And like I said, there's so many times where you've seen teams getting stomped out in map 1 and map 2, and you're like, this is just going to be the easiest 3-0. And then it's just that flip of the switch, and they are right back in the series. Push it to that map 4, push it to that map 5. And one thing I gotta bring out, since this is a special occasion, would be casting for the K7 League. I believe this is the first time I've at least casted for him in a long time. I have this beautiful Magic 8 Ball that I want to bring out, and I'm probably gonna write this down and see if the Magic 8 Ball is right. But I think Lurk Blue is going to win, and we're going to give it a little shake, and we're going to see what it says. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little tough for me to see this, and it says very doubtful. So already our predictions are already potentially thrown out the window by the Magic 8 Ball, but right now I'm just super excited to be able to see these guys play and see what they have, since all these players I have not been able to cast in the past besides Huncho, and so it's going to be a lot of new blood for me to be at least see. And not to mention, I just love being able to cast a lot of these amateur players too. Like, this is what you want to see, and this is what all, like, you know, the friends and family, they want to see their players succeed. They want to, like, see that progression. I think this is, you know, leagues like this is where you get to showcase that and, like, you know, take that first dip into that competitive scene. And it's absolutely awesome how supportive the Call of Duty community is, but yet toxic at the same time.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And honestly, like K7, if there's a league to start to show up, this is definitely one of the ones that you're going to want to do it. You know, got eyes on you, money on the line in all leagues, but, you know, it's nonetheless, there's still a lot to be said by saying, like, I'm playing in K7, or, you know, I got the match win. You know, eventually later on down the line, someone's going to go and I won K7. You know, but it all starts here. It definitely all starts here, and certainly, I'd have to say as well, like looking at the series at hand that we have, definitely sort of like I do want to bring it back a little bit where we're kind of talking about just in terms of some of the map momentums and sort of how, like, some teams, you know, they kind of bounce back. I've had games where it's like a team is absolutely monstrous in the respawn, but then absolutely gets spat on in like an S&D. And like that's like embarrassingly bad. Like there's moments like that here, and I want that to be this moment here as well. I just want teams to be wrestling it out. I will say it's a little bit unfortunate that we're doing the second hard points or whatever now. It certainly does favor respawn teams more, but certainly you just love seeing that the differences and that the teams can have specialties going into these games.
Yeah, and one thing I've always, especially with being 3 hard points now, it's going to favor those respawn teams. One mode that I really want the competitive scene to bring back is that I absolutely loved growing up with was capture the flag. I don't know what it is about that mode, but I thought it was so much more fun to watch because your life is valuable, a lot like S&D, because if you're that back man trying to hold that flag, you have to wait 7-8 seconds for that respawn. But you have to basically rely on your teammates to be that cutoff man. And so I'm hoping, you know, potentially in the future, what the CDL or the amateurs want to do is maybe throw CTF back in, because I absolutely love that mode. And not to mention, with that, there's so many other maps that you can bring into the pool, because I think it allows you to bring in some bigger maps, which I think a lot of people like. But in a 4v4, once again, it's going to feel like a slow pace mode. Domination wasn't much fun to watch back in Modern Warfare. So bringing control back, I think everybody was extremely happy. But it looks like it's here to stay. But I would just love to potentially see like CTF eventually come back and take that over in the scene.
Yeah, thinking of potentially and like to see. I think for right now, we're going to head it to a little bit of a break as we sort out some lobby stuff and get into this map 1. But when we return, it's the map 1, it's the Berlin, what we've all been waiting for to see. And, well, I don't think you're going to want to miss it.
Seeing monsters at your window. No, you can't sleep, you pretend though. You don't have to play the hero. 'Cause I got you like you got me. When the earth shakes, when the bombs scream, until our last breath, every heartbeat. You know I'll come running. shine. You know I'll come running when you need. I'm coming. You know I'll come running. You go to war, then I'm going with you. Pick up my sword, yeah, there's nothing I won't do. When you sound the alarm and the chaos is rising, leading the charge, yeah, I'm coming, I'm fighting. Swear on the breath that I breathe, I'll never retreat, yeah, I'll be your army. If you go to war, then I'm going with you. Pick up my sword, yeah, there's nothing I won't do. When you sound the alarms and the chaos is rising, leading the charge, I'm coming, I'm fighting. Swear on the breath that I breathe, I'll never retreat, yeah, I'll be your army.
I've been walking through the rain, don't know where I'm going. My head's leading me astray, yeah, you follow no wind. Getting deeper in the frame, I see your face, I feel the pain, but you chose the path I follow. I'm in love with the way that you hold me when I fall back down. And I'm in love with the words from your voice that put me off the ground now. This love's been a long time coming. My breath's close but my heart keeps running. I'm so fed up of the lies that my heart believed in, but staring deep into your eyes makes it all forgiven. I feel my cover will be blown, my fears will grow out of control. Yeah, you still want the path I follow anyways. I'm in love with the way that you hold me when I fall back down. And I'm in love with the words from your voice that put me off the ground now. This love's been a long time coming. My breath's close but my heart keeps running.
Welcome back, everybody. We are back with day 2. We got the K7 League here. We'll have to see how these two teams play on out. It's going to be KGK, or sorry, Team KGK versus Lurk Blue as we kick off this map 1 Berlin of this series. I am TG, joined by my good friend over here, Giraffe.
Yes, sir, and finally hopping into the map after this long wait, but we are getting on into it on this P1. It seems to be Team KGK that is on the point first, but I love this play by Calc. He is already cutting off the reinforcements to get on into the train station. And look at that. There is so many kills lighting up blue for KGK, and they have such a good line of defense, and nobody's been able to get close to the hill for about the first 15 seconds. And just look at these shots coming in from Puzzle as he's trying to look out through that glass. But Jay trying to be the one to make the break. He is running the AR, and I called it here first. He is running an AR. That was an AR type of player. But right now, after this P1, it is just pure domination by Team KGK.
Yeah, looking pretty good. Schizo coming around the side here, and well, there you go. It's going to be side of Lurk Blue, trying to get positioning, trying to get the setup over here to the P2. They are able to do so. They hadn't got a single point on the board up until this point. P1, not their finest hour. Schizo, though, getting down to the window. You're not coming on through there. Schizo's, he's going to be getting those kills. He's going to be chilling in this corner as well. The rest of KGK going to be trying to push him up, trying to challenge him, and the rest of Lurk Blue, can they do it? They get a few kills going their way. Eventually, though, they are able to make a presence on the hill.
Yeah, and that was a good break by KGK. They picked off the man that had pushed out first, and then after that, they had that 4v3 advantage. They just slowly pushed on in, but a great play by Schizo early on, because I believe he picked up 2 or 3 in that initial hill, but KGK right off the bat, they are just going to get these last 20 seconds uncontested, as we'll be heading to the P3 fire right now. Jay, he is unfortunately 1 and 5. And then on the rest of the roster, 5 and 3 for Zapio, and then Gunny 6 and 4, Schizo 3 and 5. Even though he picked up those 3 kills, he needs to find some more. Jay going to be the one to try to stop this initial push coming in from the outer docks.
Yeah, the outer docks starting to come on in. Comet may be the one to have this first engagement, get some shots. Can't quite find the kill, though. Unfortunately, a little bit shaky there. Eventually, the response comes on in. Comet goes down. KGK trying to push onto the hill. Pal here on the side, trying to push, trying to attack this point. The side's starting to get pinched on, and Zapio trying to do all he can. Can't quite hold off KGK. They start to break on in. They have their push. They have their control now, and there's still 20 seconds left to be had. Rotations have got to be in the mind of Lurk Blue at this point. I don't think you have enough to really push this hill that much without losing the possibility of the spawns for next.
Yeah, and this kind of seems like, so far in this first set of rotations heading into this P4 train station, it's a lot of Lurk Blue rotating early, getting mostly the first 30 seconds, maybe a little bit contested, but then kind of giving up the last 15 or 20. So they really have to excel on these early rotations, and one or two of these hills they need to lock down for a full 60. They cannot allow Team KGK to get those 20 uncontested scrap time, especially if they break in early and KGK decides to rotate early. It's going to be tough for Lurk Blue to keep in this game.
Yeah, KGK just looking like they were maybe breaking on in for a little bit, but Lurk, the spawns are there. They're able to reapply their pressure, can keep control over this hill, at least contest it for a little bit, but 3 go down. Schizo still spawning in the back. Gonna be in a little bit of a gunfight, gets the win though, but there's still 15 seconds left to be had on this hill. And the time for the side of Lurk Blue, they've been able to start to have a big comeback overall. They're still, behind, but not by much. That last hill, definitely a big one, along with the hill before that. For the next one, about to pop on up. Zapio going to be top 3rd, trying to get this beam onto Comet. Can't quite do it. So very close. You got to know, Comet is weak.
Yeah, and right near heading into this P5, this is going to be probably the most heavily contested hill, I would say, besides that P1. And it's just because there's no cover. You have this one big hunk of scrap in the middle that essentially you're going to play ring around the rosy with a lot of these players. But Lurk Blue, once again, they just seem to be the early rotation team and getting that early time. But once again, KGK, they just have a suffocating break where they tend to get those 3 or 4 kills. And right now, Cal, the captain, he has broken on in for KGK. He is only 7 and 12, but he has 30 seconds on the point. Puzzle, he is rocking that automaton AR. He is 13 and 8 with 1 minute and 18 in the point, so he is already turning it on up. On the other side, you have Jay with the automaton for Lurk Blue, 16 seconds and only 6 and 13. After this first set of rotations, it is KGK who is up by 70 plus.
Yeah, the second set of rotations coming on in the P1. It is, yeah, KGK, they're up 153-87 right now, but this time around, Lurk Blue, they had the original hold, they had the original positions, but it's not enough to hold on as Team KGK come on in, just wipe them off the point, wipe them off the board, going like, this is going to be our hill. You know, we had a P1, the first set of rotations, we're going to take it again, thank you very much. And Cal there trying to get a nice little read, trying to get a nice little play going for himself. Unfortunately, will not happen. Puzzled on this side, puts out a few shots there. Nothing going to be quite found there. The rest of his team going to be pushing on up. They still have the rotations though for the P2 at the moment, though they were taken right off that P1.
Yeah, and I love this route that Gunny took already. He is number 4 for Lurk Blue, and he actually wins a big 1v1 gunfight against Comet on that outside. But he is just essentially going to be locking down that long lane of sight coming out of train station. So I love what he did early. He ran through the middle of the map, won his 1v1. It's just going to allow his team to get positioned and break on in to this hill. Cal, he will come in through mid-map, so he kind of eliminates that play by Gunny. But look at this angle, and I know this player who's right on the other side of the door from it. It's Comet. Oh, and he ends up getting the read, so that is beautiful. A great gunfight win from KGK. This should allow them to get a little bit more map pressure and potentially break on in, but right now the submachine guns of Lurk Blue are starting to heat on up. Cal, he will end up getting taken down by Zappio as he is absolutely shredding in the hill. He is 15 and 10. He has 2 in a row, has almost a minute in the point. So Lurk Blue, they are keeping this game close.
Yeah, they are keeping it close. They've had a lot of these rotations, and with that has come a lot of their success and really just keeping this gap as close as possible for them. And Huncho comes on in, finds one. He can't quite find the second. The question is his teammate there for some trades? And there are going to be some trades on the board, on the field. It's going to be KGK kind of on this next hill, but it's going to be Lurk Blue with those backside spawns. They should have a decent time trying to push on in if they can. Puzzle just takes one out as they try to emerge from fire through the flames. And right now, Lurk Blue, they can't quite cut this hill quite yet. They're making a fight for it, though.
Yeah, and right now, this was kind of the concern that I had on that first set of rotations. It was Lurk Blue rotating early and getting that early time, and then KGK getting a lot of that scrap. And now KGK is basically doing the exact same thing. They've been rotating early, but have been losing their gunfights on the rotation. So they've been kind of getting picked off. Lurk Blue, they're doing exactly that. So KGK, they were thinking about, hey, let's start rotating early and, you know, maybe leave one less guy to fight for that scrap. And it's kind of coming back to bite them at the moment because there's just been so many big plays on the rotation for Blue. But right now, Huncho, he ends up winning his big one, allows the train station control to go in his favor. But once again, this is only a 9-point game. KGK, they're trying to hold on as they were starting off with a 70-point lead after the first set of rotations. Lurk Blue, let's see if they can muster enough strength to potentially pull this comeback.
Yeah, you have number 1, you have number 8 at the back end. There's going to be number 2 off to the side, does get caught. And well, now we'll have to see how things play on out. Still, KGK, they have those backside spawns. They have a lot of pressure on the hill. They're over that 200-point mark. Lurk Blue, they're not too far behind, but this is a tough hill to break. KGK holding it quite nicely.
Yeah, and right now it just seems like chaos is ensuing on this map, and so I'm curious to see with all this going on and how close this game is getting. Let's go into team listening with KGK.
Left. There's two coming tracks right now.
Yeah, they got me. They hit me off. Two tracks. 2 tracks right now, bro. Let's end this shit.
Yeah, let's rotate through the street. One index, he's going in apartments.
He's in that window, bro, watching cutting off our spawn. You know what window I'm talking about?
Yep. I just
he's
slid
in
through.
the train's window. My bad.
Yeah, he's still there.
Keep going.
He's up top third, bro. You should have led there, Huncho.
I'm nading top third.
One hill watching. He's watching apartments.
I'll wrap around street.
I got one off and one top third. He hopped off hill. One top third. One's on the hill left side.
Top third tagged.
I don't see him on hill.
P5 shot. P5
Hill dead.
Top third. He's still top third.
I needed him.
We just need to play this time.
He's in the hole in the wall. He's in the hole in the wall. Yo, we gotta go for new. Get him off and go for new.
And yeah, after that listening, I love hearing a lot from it. Seemed like Cal, at that time, he was being the captain, trying to be that playmaker. But one person that kind of impressed me was Comment. He was saying, hey, we need to rotate early here because right now this game is neck and neck as KGK. They're just trying to hold on. We're going to the third set of rotations. They are on the hill, but Lurk Blue, they are looking to break on in.
Yeah, this P1 definitely big. Both teams can win off this hill. The next one, the possibility of being sort of that nail in the coffin, depending on how rotations go. But the contested has to be there. 232. 232 is tied neck and neck, going the distance in this map 1 so far. Zapio's gonna be on this hill. Team KGK, they're gonna be spawning out, but they're going, hey, we need to get on this rotation a little bit. I think there might have been a little bit of thought we need to push through mid, but they don't have the time. Lurk Blue, they're so very close, only a few more points for them, and well, they shut KGK out of the hill, and with that, they shut them out of the map 1.
I mean, I just wish we could have switched to the POV of Gunny, because he absolutely sealed that map, and we get to see it in the replay, because, well, okay, maybe the last kill, but that man, I think, went on an 8 spree in about the last 30 seconds. He was absolutely shredding. He finishes the map 29 and 19, but phenomenal stuff coming out of Lurk Blue. Like I said, they were down by 70 to 80 points after the first set of rotations, and they pull off a win like that on that third set of rotations on that P1. It's just absolutely phenomenal stuff. They did not give up, even though I think the one edge that they have was that rotation game. They were just winning those rotation battles, and it seemed like Team KGK, yeah, they would send one player to rotate early, but every single time it didn't seem like he was being able to win that gunfight that locked down that initial spawn.
Yeah, the early game for the side of Lurk Blue, definitely rough for them. I don't think there's any getting around that in any way. It was definitely not looking great at the start, but they were definitely able to pick things up. They kept things very much like sort of fundamental. Like they were very much like, okay, we didn't get this hill the way we wanted it to. You know, we didn't get the stronghold that we want. Let's just scrap it. Let's rotate over to the next hill. And eventually they kind of got warmed up. They took a lot of the bigger gunfights that they needed to win later on as well. And that just slowly chipping away. And, you know, eventually by the time we reached that midway point, it was so close. But KGK, sort of what you were saying with the rotations, like they sent one player over. Lurk Blue, they were sending like 2 or 3 players over. They were going, hey guys, let's just get these rotations over. They let them have the last 20 seconds. If we can just hold the next hill, use our gunny, and as we get warmer in these later hills, like you saw it at the end, like you know, sort of that P1 control, and even the point before that a little bit, like they had a lot of these rotations. It just meant them getting warmed up to hold it even better, and it brought them back in.
Yeah, and one thing that they did, they were just keeping it within striking distance, and I love that you brought up they were sending 2 or 3 players on that rotation. That just means that their comms were on point. They're like, hey, let's just give them that last 15, 20 seconds and let's all rotate and win that rotation battle and make them have to punch through the front door every single time. And that's what they did. And they held it extremely phenomenal. And Skitsu, he was making plays. And then right at the end, it was Gunny with the automaton. He went on like that 7-8 string. I wish I could have seen that, because I was just like, oh my God, just looking at the kill feed. And he was lighting everybody up. But now we're going to be heading into this map 2 Bocage, S&D. What do you think the side of KGK has to do on this map to be successful?
They have to be able to get a little bit more coordination. In my mind, like listen to the listen, like it was all right. Like you like sort of said, you had the guy calling out to rotate, but I didn't think that they were a whole lot like doing acting upon it. I felt like it was kind of like a little bit of comms, like this here, this there, but it wasn't like a lot of cohesion. I felt like in the team that really needs to be there as much. And in this map, certainly it's a lot more like, hey, we're gonna push this hill just straight up, or we're gonna hold and push it. So there's a little bit more, I would say leniency, but definitely the comms need to be on point for them in terms of if they want to rotate. And well, as we get into this map, it's round 1 of the map 2. It's Comet left alone in a 1v2. He Schizo gets the kill, and all of a sudden a 1v1. Both players on the opposite side of the map now. It comes down to what are these routes going to be?
And this is a map that was picked by the side of KGK. Common and Cal, they do actually love to play this map. They say this is one of the most dominant S&D maps. So Common already showing us that right off the gate. This is a technical 1v3 into a 1v1. Yeah, Jay, the player that I said to watch on Lurk Blue, can he pull off the clutch as Common's hit down to 6, make it 2 HP? And I don't know what he's trying to do to challenge that. Maybe he thought he was going to try to run around, but right there, it was Jay ending up winning that really big 1v1, not allowing that 1v3 to happen. But on a map like Bocage, I don't think you will see any potential like faster rounds in S&D, because you could literally run as fast as you can right to the middle of the map and everybody will be dead in less than about 10 seconds. I would say about 7, you could essentially end the round. But right there, beautiful stuff for Lurk Blue. Even though they got into that 1v1, they were able to clutch it up and secure that round.
Yeah, Gunny pushing on into Grandma's here. There's going to be one there. He sees him, able to back away, but certainly information is there now. Huncho going to be watching this outer side for his teammate a little bit. His pressure is going to be there. Puzzle, he finds one. There's going to be another one. Zappio possibly here pushing on in for a second puzzle. Is he going to be there? He's there. He finds the second. And that is going to be a solid 2 kills there. A 2v4 now as Schizo and Yaje are left alone. Make that just 1.
And you see exactly why, like, KGK, this is their map. But oh my goodness, Yaje with 3! No way, he's about to pull off this 1v4. It is not going to happen. I have not seen it yet as a caster in this game. Can Yaje, the man, the myth, potentially the legend. I can't give him that Scott Sterling title quite yet, but he's going to be in a 1v1 with Puzzled as he's trying to maneuver around. And now, oh my goodness, he gets the info, but Puzzled didn't see him. No way, but Yaje, he didn't see him either. Oh no! Oh!
What are we watching? What was that? I don't even know how to describe what in the world just happened there. Yaje, the world is on your shoulders. It make it yours, but somehow falls in the final last second there. Couldn't quite pin down that last player. Like, he had the information, just couldn't react enough. And, well, the potential ace in the early game, unfortunately, will not be seen. It will not unravel the way that we all wanted it to.
Oh, I mean, yeah, Jay, it just seemed like in that final moment, you were like Velma from Scooby-Doo. Where are my glasses? He just could not see him for some reason. But, coming back into this round, it will be KGK who ends up clutching that one up just barely. But Lurk Blue trying to hold on or at least break on in. It looks like to this A site. And right now, it will be number 8, Gunny. He's going to probably be the initial one to try to have this opening gunfight if anybody tries to move towards that outer tanks. But it is Skitzu who is pushed all the way up towards that middle of the map. It's going to be an early gunfight potentially. It's just trying to find that early pick.
Yeah, they're starting to push on in. There's going, hey, the time is starting to tick on down, not by a whole lot, but a decent amount that you need to start to get some challenges, start to get some kills on the board. And, well, now it becomes down to a 2v2. It's going to be Huncho and Comet versus Yaje and Zappio there. We'll have to see how this one plays out. Bomb is going to be down on that A site, so it does force the hands of KGK to go, hey, we need to push on into this bomb site. Eventually, number 4 will pick that one up. There's going to be one to the right. Yaje, come on, you saw? Why? No, he's going to back away. He's puts out some shots, but he's left alone in a 1v2. The bomb going to be getting planted, going to be going down. Yaje, he's right there. Come on. Why? This has got to be a bait. Are you playing with me? What is this?
There's no way this guy's eyesight is that bad, right? Like, I mean, even if you're playing on like a 60-inch screen, I mean, we can all see him, and I mean, they're streaming off of Discord, and it's fuzzy, and we can still see him. Granted, we know where the players are, but it's like, yeah, Jay, I don't know what you need to do, my man. Get a new pair of glasses or contacts, LASIK potentially. But man, you need to start realizing there's some people a lot closer than what you think. But right off the bat is KGK. Once again, this is their map choice. And Cal and Comet, already they were the ones who say this is their most dominant S&D map. Comet 4 and 2. But Zappio, he's pushed all the way up onto that outer A site. And it looks like they will be able to try to get the plant down. It will probably be up to number 3 Cal to make the play.
Yeah, he sees one, tries to get one. He is able to do so, shoots him through the wall. His teammate puzzled, finds the other one on that bomb site. Going for the defuse right now. Number 6 and number 8, they got to move. They got number 4 at their backside. Possibility to make a play. Cal's going to find another, and well, just like that, the collapse comes on in from Team KGK. And it is going to be them with a nice little lead now at 3-1 in the S&D.
Yeah, and right there, I just love how they hopped on the bomb right away. Once they got those first kill, they're like, hey, let's get somebody on the bomb. Let's just guard them. And that's where that aim assist comes on in, right? Like, you can drag that aim assist aside, just be right over that diffuser. And then if somebody tries to come in and shoot them, you're going to have to be the one to jump away and pull that aim assist. And you're going to have to win that gunfight, though, because you're going to only have a split second to defend that. Defend your teammate. But right now, Gunny, he's going to be the one trying to watch the cross by those back tanks. He doesn't see Cal make it. He might have got a sound cue on that slide, but Cal, I don't know. Oh, he ends up double pumping that grenade, looking like Mitch Trubisky out there with that throw, but luckily he does end up getting away and not causing any damage to himself or anybody. But Skitzu, he is the one to find the first blood for Lurk Blue. Zapio, he is unfortunately 0-4 in Skitzu. Once again, finds the second. This is looking like some positivity coming out of Blue.
Yeah, the bomb's going to be down. The question now is, does number 5 realize that? Certainly KGK does, because they're the one that's attacking Cal and Comet. They have to start to push on up. The eye lines are mostly covered, I would say, but Comet might be able to get some nice time. You can find Gunny this top back window. There's going to be another one, though, for a trade possibly, but he's going to peek on out. Get a nice little pick the trade. Is it there? Number 4 Comet here. Just trying to run away. He's able to. No punishment whatsoever there, but Skinzo still there, just chilling by the corner, doing what he does best, and that is chilling by the heady, getting the kills as they come to him.
Yeah, and he's on 3 in a row, potentially looking for the ace, but Lurk Blue, they're able to close that out, and I love what Comet did there. He just played that so perfectly. He was slow peeking those angles, but he kind of figured there's going to be somebody in top window. He had it pre-aimed, and he was able to win that gunfight, and that was a good thing by him. But once again, it was the playmaker, the captain, Skitzu, for Lurk Blue, who ended up going huge and getting 3 kills in that round, especially with the SMG. So watch out for him as he's potentially starting to heat up in this series. But right now, KGK, they hold the lead by 1 round. Can they do it on defense? I think it's going to be potentially another opening gunfight with Gunny on that outside river against number 4 Comet. And so hopefully it will be the side of KGK trying to, potentially put this game out of reach early and get up by 2 rounds again.
Yeah, KGK, though, they're set up over by this B site, and well, there you go. Eventually, it's going to be Cal there, able to get the bomb carrier down. Lurk Blue, they're so spread on out. I can see maybe sending one player to the outside, but I don't feel like there was a lot of protection around that bomb carrier. As you get picks now, all of a sudden, Lurk Blue need to work their way over to it, and it's stuck in zigzag, and it's sort of a little bit of a tricky situation now. Team KGK in a 3v2, they have the man advantage. Yajay, though, with the best position that you could probably have, just sort of looking over that side, but they have to start to make some moves here in KGK. They have the surrounding area just about covered.
Yeah, and then unfortunately, Gunny, he does get taken down on that outside river. It was number 2, Huncho, watching that long lane of sight. But the one thing I kind of do like that was implemented in this S&T, the announcer says, hey, the bomb has been grabbed. So once you just get that information, you don't have to worry about it, because a lot of those Call of Duties, you were having to play around that bomb, and it kind of allowed only certain positions you could potentially take. But now, knowing that you're going to get that cue of when somebody else picks up that bomb, it just allows so many more options for the defense to be able to play that, so they don't have to play necessarily so close to the bomb and only certain lines of sight where teams would potentially be able to get those easy reads.
Yeah, and looking at the stats right now, you got Zapio for the side of Lurk, who kind of needs to be the one to step it on up. And, in some cases, it's sort of like, does that player really need to step up to make an impact? In this certain map, I'd say yes. Because you're down 4-2 right now. You're at 1-5. Everyone else has gotten 3 to 5 kills, roughly. Like, everyone else is just about even around the board. It's really this 1-5 is really starting to look like the difference maker in the performance and the scoreline that we currently have at the moment. And it's going to be KGK also playing it a lot slower this round. I think we saw maybe one, maybe two other rounds played super, super slowly. So we'll have to see if this one amounts to any success as we change up the pace so far in this later half of the S&D.
Yeah, and Huncho, he does end up picking off that guy in the back spawn for Lurk Blue, but once again, it is Skitsu finding a two-piece. He just seems to do it so naturally with that submachine gun roll, and then Gunny, he might have just picked up an SMG as well, not running that automaton, but now left in a 1v3. Comet, can he do it? Makes it into a 1v2, and he has been here before in that first round. He tried to pull it off, wasn't able to do so. Can he end up clutching this one instead of the side of blue taking another round?
Yeah, and the side of Lurk Blue, this is a round that you really do need to win. The bomb's been picked on up. Skitsu there, a nice little pick to end the round. And just like that, it is going to be Lurk Blue still trying to stay in it now, 4-3, still keeping things close.
Yeah, and right now, Skitsu, he once again picked up 3. I believe that's his second round in this matchup that he's found 3 kills. So he's just been an absolute playmaker. And like you said, yeah, on the other side, Zapio, he's the one who is 1 and 5. He needs to end up picking up the slack, but fortunately, maybe have 2 just random people joining. And yeah, so it looks like we might have to get a restart of the round. So it's an unfortunate turn of events.
Lurk Blue calling in some reinforcements to finish the game.
They're absolutely right, and they might just play this one out for the round at least. I'm not exactly sure, but no, they will end up getting this lobby reset. That's just super unfortunate. I've seen that happen a few times, and I think everybody would have been a little bit more upset. Say that was like a round 11, and then just 2 randoms joined.
Oh yeah,
and
round 11,
all the momentum,
like 1v1.
Oh god, that nothing would have been more infuriating than that happened. But right off the bat, what did you like from the side of Lurk Blue? That was, you know, they were, even though they were down 3-4, what do you think is some things they can either improve on, and what was some things that you liked out of them?
I think for them, like you had Skitsu watching some nice corners, taking his nice gunfights. I think early game, we've seen some weird plays in terms of gunfights or not being able to get kills they really should have seen or gotten in general. And just KGK just sort of running through them in sort of the early game and continuing that momentum a little bit. But Lurk Blue, they're keeping some form here against Skitsu, sort of getting a lot of some dirty work going and really making it a lot easier for the rest of the team to just go like, okay, we can regroup. You know, Skitsu, he's got 2, maybe 3 on the map here, and well, we just need to finish it off.
Yeah, and one thing that I think Blue needs to work on was their offensive rounds, where it seemed a little sluggish. And like you said, it was those untraded kills. It seemed like their bomb carrier was just moving up and not having any support. So immediately when he would go down, it was in such a tough spot to be able to pick it up and not be noticed. So I think that's maybe one thing, maybe have another person so they at least can get that trade and feel confident about potentially moving in on that bomb site. But then you look on the other side, KGK, they were able to clutch up in a few of those 1v1s, and I think one of them should have gone the other way. Yeah, Jay, once again, check your glasses, my man, because there were some instances where it just seemed like he was trying to use echolocation or something like that. It was not going in his favor.
He put the blindfold on. You know, he was testing out a new method to play Call of Duty. It didn't work though.
He was trying to be like Matt LaFleur at the end of Dodgeball. Hey, we can't all do it, but you can absolutely inspire to be like him. And a little bit tougher, especially in game. But KGK, they were doing a phenomenal job of being able to trade, and it kind of seemed like they were forcing their way in with those numbers, which is, if Skitsu wasn't picking up those 2 or 3 pieces, this round could essentially be over, or this map could be over. So I think KGK, keep that team chemistry going in a sense of doing those team pushes, making sure you can get those trades. And it just seems like they're a little bit more knowledgeable of where somebody's going to be watching an angle. So I love what they've been doing, especially Comet. He was absolutely pulling off some amazing kills, knowing the angles that were going to be taken. He was taking some risky gunfights, but it was going to be a high probability of, a person being there. So he was doing a phenomenal job as well for KGK.
Yeah, I mean, KGK, I feel like right now, like there's someone on their team just going like, all right, guys, let's just full push this point right now. Like everyone's on board with them. They're pushing in with a lot of their numbers and they're getting a lot of those kills. Sort of what you were saying a little bit earlier with the side of Lurk Blue being a little bit spread out in that bomb carry. That also kind of transitions to just the general gameplay of KGK, just knowing that they have those numbers advantages, pushing forward. It's been Schizo just pretty much stopping them dead in their tracks a few times. But if he wasn't there, yeah, I mean, they'd be taking like a 3v1s or 4v2 situations and getting those wins. And this map is really all about knowing when to sort of push on out. And if a teammate dies, you need to get the trade on this map. Like that is huge on this map. You need to get those numbers advantage. You need to be able to get that pressure because pushing into like bottom grandma, that bomb site, like you need to have like 2-3 people up to really make that successful. If you end up getting trapped in there, if you have up at the top barn heady, like that's a nice spot to have, but you really need to have those numbers to have that zone on lockdown because it's so easy to just hop on in, find a pick, and hop on out.
Yeah, no, and I think that's another great thing that Vanguard implemented is that untraded kills stat line, which I think is kind of interesting, and it just shows you how well your teamwork is, and I think it especially shows in the SND where all those kills are extremely crucial. And if you don't get that untraded kill, it's gonna be detrimental to your offense or your defense and how you are holding those positions. Potentially have to reshuffle some players, but then again, you see a lot of these pro teams, even if one guy goes down, a lot of them, they just hold their position. They feel so confident that nobody else is, going to run up. Their setup is feeling, still tight until they feel confident enough to either give them that retake. And that's the biggest thing that I noticed from pros to the amateur scene is being able to retake a bomb site and feel confident doing so and not trying to give away a kill, trying to take somebody off planting that bomb.
Yes, and with that, now we are finally going to get back into it. I believe we should have 4 players on each team now, and we aren't going to have a massive wave public lobby, like 6v6 situation. It will be, I believe, KGK leading so far. It's going to be 4-3 with KGK with the advantage so far, but things are still close. Definitely around that midpoint where the next. I mean, really, just numbers-wise, like we're running out of rounds to go through, but it's crucial. Every single round from this point forward really, really counts to both teams.
Yeah, and right now, I think potentially Lurk Blue were listening to the stream because I just saw 3 of them all run out, and just like that, they take 2 down. KGK on their heel, and oh, Cal! Right there, he thought he had it. Maybe he had a third on the gunny. The read was absolutely perfect, and I was just about to say that was perfect by Lurk Blue because I thought they were going to get that trade and make it into a 3v1, but Cal pulling off the miracle-type play, getting those 2 members down, and so now it comes down to a quick 2v2. It's going to be up to Yajay to potentially pull off this flank, but KGK, they are just sitting as close as they can to each other. One sitting all the way up top, one sitting down in that kind of murky river. But the bomb should get picked up for free and potentially a free bomb plant. But once again, Cal, he is 3-0. And I think he had the read. He heard the bomb get picked up, or at least that notification. So now into a 1v2. KGK, yeah,
Cal, he's been in this position before. He had an ace in the last run in the round, dude, why am I blanking? I'm so hyped. I'm forgetting what I was going to say. They had one in the preseason matchup versus Plague. He's already there again. It's a 3-0 to him right off the bat, right in the restart. It's going to be Yadra. Don't do it. Don't let him have the ace.
And right now, I actually kind of love this play. He's going straight for the defuse, but Yajay, he might read it. Is he going to check the bomb? Is he even going to get there in time? And Cal, did he get it? Cal got it! Are you kidding me? He hops the defuse with less than a half a second to spare. The cojones on that man to go for that defuse, and he goes massive to put them 1 round away from tying up this series at 1 map apiece.
Oh, the clutch, man. He can do it all. 1v4, doesn't matter if you need to get the kills, if you just need to get the defuse, he'll do it all. Now in this restart, off to a nice little start there. He did unfortunately die at the very end of that round, but it's now 5-3 heading into this one with KGK 1 round away from taking this map.
And you can see the way that KGK are kind of playing this right now. They, on the offense, you've seen them do this. They're kind of playing it slow, but right there, trades are right back and forth. So now into a quick 3v3. Gunny, he was the one to take down Puzzle, but yeah, Jay's trying to reposition on that backside of Granny's. It is Honcho on that outside tank. He does have that angle. He's trying to find somebody, but once again, KGK, it seems like they kind of have a slow, methodical approach trying to get those picks, unfortunately, even though the trade does come through. So they're still playing this a little bit slow, getting a feel of the map. But right now, Lurk Blue, they're not giving them anything.
Yeah, but number 4 is making a play. Hold on, wait a minute. He's going to let that bomb carrier be. I don't know if he saw him or not, but Gunny's going for this long flank, but I have to see, could catch some players off guard. Sees Huncho, gets the shots and gets the kill, and now he finds himself in barn. The pressure, though, KGK, they know he's back. They're going to be trying to push. They're going to try and find him, I think, number 7, but all alone now. Cal in a 1v3, but if there's a man to do it, I think it's this guy. Not with the time, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was just such a beautiful route by Gunny, too, and what he did. And when he got that kill at about 20 seconds left, it made those other 2 players have to go back and hunt him down because he would have had free reign to run to either bomb site and potentially shoot somebody in the back. They just had, it was just such a beautiful play and making them have to turn around and find him, and he just wasted enough time to where they either had to find all 3 kills in 7 seconds or try to get that bomb down, and they were ready for it.
Yeah, it's now going to be 5-4. KGK, they still have that lead, but Lurk Blue looming overhead is that round 11. It's all on them to make it happen. The full push coming on in. There's going to be some trades that go down. So there's going to be one in the window there. And, well, the question is, does that window player push on out? On the other end, though, some shots still going down, but still a 3v3 as things start to die on down a little bit.
And right now, KGK, they're not wanting to push on in quite yet. And Lurk Blue, they definitely were listening because they just straight ran on in with 3 peoples and took that 1v1 or that 3v1 in Grannies. They ended up getting traded. But Puzzle, he tries to break on in, but right there, yeah, it's Skitzu. He is watching over. So this is potentially about to go to a round 11. Comet, he is 0-2. Huncho 1-2, and he gets taken down. Yajay in the corner, a 1v3, and I think this might go to a round 11 comment. I'm not sure if he's going to try to decide to push on in and maybe not give away a free kill. He's still potentially going to try to come on in and find it, but it's just going to be a little bit too late. Too many angles to try to find as he just goes in, guns ablazing, unfortunately, pulling a John Marston and just getting shot right as he opened up that door.
I'm honestly getting a flashback to a public match I had earlier where it was just people camping in the bomb site just with shotguns. Like, sure, they had MP40s, but honestly, might as well have been shotguns. They're just camping that bomb. They know that the player needs to come to them, needs to go and make that entrance, and just too many players to pick on off. And now we find ourselves in the round 11 is tied up 5-5. Last life on this map that these players will see.
And KGK, this time they're going to go in with the full-on aggression. They're in a 3-1 setup. Number 5, he breaks on in, puzzled. They tosses out a stun. Cal unfortunately hits himself a little bit, but right now puzzled. He tries to get a little bit too aggressive. Once again, he was by himself, an untraded kill. He was trying to find an opening, and Lurk Blue, they're looking to close this one out. A streak does come in, so they're going to have that information of where those last 2 players from KGK are, but once again, it's Yajay and Zapio. 5-0 and 4-1, pulling in some massive numbers when you need them in these crucial rounds. But Comet, he's hit down to 4. Can he stay alive? KGK, this is to potentially tie up the series or be down 0-2.
Oh, look at that time, everyone. They're just all scattering around the map. There's a player on every corner. Comet, he sees Gunny on the side, though, and there's no one quite there to get a trade. No, quite there to pick it up. Honcho comes into the bomb. He picks it up, I think, for a brief second, but he's going to go down. Comet's going to fall right after, and just like that, the close of the round 11 is going to find Lurk Blue with the win. There's 2 maps in a row, but these have been so close. So very close. I'm talking the matter of a few seconds here on the hard point, a few kills here in the S&D.
And you just have to feel it for Lurk Blue right now, because they have came back from from basically 2 maps down. They had to rip off 3 rounds to take that in that 6-5 round 11. And then in that map 1 on Berlin, they were down by 70, 80 points after the first set of rotations. It just shows the fortitude that they have, that mental capacity to be able to come back and overcome those obstacles and not give up in the middle of that map. And that's one thing you gotta love. And you can tell that LAN chemistry is definitely going through, because I think in teams that are, you know, either just coming together or haven't been together that long, you can kind of feel if you're losing early, they just don't have that chemistry yet to be able to overcome some of those deficits.
Yeah, it just you know, the reset. I've got to think, if there wasn't a reset there, if we weren't flooded with players for some reason, would things have been different? What kind of mood was broken up by that? Like those are moments that honestly you kind of look back now and go, like, would it be in that same position? Lurk Blue, you know, that after that timeout, you get some time to regroup, and it's just say, okay, guys, we're still in this, we're down. You know, at the break it was 4-3. You know, it just give it some extra time. Let's just get warmed up a little bit. You know what? Let's stay calm, cool, and collective. You have that extra time, and I mean, now you see the round 11, they come out ahead again, still very close. They have this lead now in the series, 2-0 to them, but it has not been easy. It's not been easy road for them. They've been climbing up that mountain over, and they've just been barely able to squeak on by.
And you got to think in series like this, you see it all the time where there is a 3-0, a clean sweep, but it's like every map was close, and you just got to feel for those teams that, you know, get 3-0'd. It's heartbreaking, but you know, like, you're playing the game right. It's just those little mistakes that end up killing you at the end. And like we said, it's potentially making those mid-map adjustments, which I think Lurk Blue has done a phenomenal job at doing. I think they've kind of figured out how the side of KGK has been playing, and they've been adapting extremely well. They listened to us. They started going on in with 2 or 3 players, trying to get those 3v1s, and they were getting the numbers. I think it could have actually probably been a 6-4 if Cal didn't pull off that miraculous 2-piece and basically that 1v4 and getting that like amazing defuse. So I think besides a few little mistakes, it Lurk Blue, even though they only won it by 1 round, I think they could have won it by a little bit more. And once again, it's just going to be those little mistakes that are going to either keep these games close or turn the tide one way or another.
Yeah, now looking into the next map, let me take a quick look here. We got a Bocage hard point that we're going to be getting into here. It really comes down to, for me, KGK, they got to keep up that momentum. Like, they've had the lead in the S&D. They had the lead in the hard point. They've just got to get it. They have to keep it. They got to be able to apply those pressure and just not let Lurk adjust. They have to be able to adapt to the way that the teams are adapting to them.
Yeah, and it's just got to be... You got to be like Tom Brady. Once you get the lead, you can't give it up, which is he almost never does. But then again, you also, for Lurk Blue, they're being Tom Brady. They're being down and still being able to make those amazing comebacks. And I think it's just been those individual plays too. Every single person on that team has made an amazing play. Like KJ, he made an amazing play earlier in their rounds. He ended up getting 3 or 4 kills, and then it was Skitsu on the other side picking up 3 in a round, and then it was Cal once again for KGK. But it's just been such a close back and forth series, and it's going to be those fundamentals. Who's going to be able to make those mid-game adjustments as we're coming into the Bocage, and you just feel like this is such a chaotic map, and it's going to favor whichever team has the better submachine gun presence.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at this point, everyone's warm. Heading to a Bocage on the map 3, there's really no excuse to not being able to have your gun up, being ready to take the heat. This is the make or break moment for the side of KGK. Again, they've been so close. They just need to close out a map, and it can start here. They have to do it. Just get those fundamentals and get some of those rotations, though. Again, on this map, not quite as huge in some regards, in some areas. Definitely still crucial, but not as big, I think, as some of the other maps. This one is definitely one where your players need to be on point in terms of just having the fast-paced reaction time. And I think KGK, they brought it in the S&D, Lurk Blue. They were able to kind of slow it on down. So this should be a map, I think, that KGK, if they can get the communications up and the coordination, it could be theirs with their firepower.
Yeah, and one thing that you can say about both teams that they've been doing extremely well is they're not really allowing a lot of time to go off the clock, even though like on this P1 it always kind of tends to happen because you're fighting for those P2 spawns. But they've done a phenomenal job of not allowing any like undead time, just kind of free roaming. When somebody has the opportunity, they're most likely going to be on the hill. And right now, Lurk Blue, they're off to an amazing start. Yajay, he is on 4-0. He's potentially looking for that glide bomb. He only needs one more kill, but they do have that rotation to that P2. So KGK, they're going to have to be the ones to try to break in through this tank. And Yajay, he does secure that glide bomb.
Yeah, Zapio going to be there, going to be finding one, tagging up another one before he found that one, though, but he's going to get away. The prey is going to be lost, but will it be found again? Doesn't really look like that's going to be quite the case. And, you know, Zapio, he's just running around the map just freely. There's still players from KGK around, and he's able to find another one on a 2-streak so far, hopping that hill. Still some more players to be had, some more players to possibly be found, but he will get eventually shut down.
Yeah, and this is probably the only hill, potentially, you know, the river as well, where the AR is going to be, you know, vital. But right now, I wish... Are we able to see how many players are running ARs and submachine guns? I'm not sure if that is actually introduced into the Codcaster mode, because I would be curious to see how many players and what weapons they are running. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we were able to do so, but this is a map you can run 4 submachine guns if you feel confident enough. I think you saw Atlanta FaZe. They were the ones to do it. You saw RCs and Celium both pulling out the submachine gun, and they ended up dominating on this map. But it's usually you know, either a 4 submachine guns or three subs and 1 AR. But this is not a map you want to be running 2 ARs.
Yeah, this is also not a map that you want to be down by 60 points, to be completely honest with you. This is a map where things need to be scrappy, and it just looks like KGK that just haven't quite been able to do it. Huncho going to be getting tagged. He's going to go down. Comet more at the front, trying to push onto the hill. There's going to be a contest. He is able to find one. There's still more players around. The trade is there, and well, KGK, they're not there with their reinforcements. Lurk Blue starting to run away with this map a little bit as we start to look at the next hill. I mean, KGK, they have the rotation. They have got to be there. They have got to start picking up some time. Lurk Blue, they're looming over 100 points almost.
Yeah, and right now, this is something that we talked about before the series even starting. Which team is going to thrive in the chaos? And right now, it is Lurk Blue. They've done it, especially at the end of that map 1 Berlin, where it was neck and neck, 225, 225. It was their players who just ended up clutching up, getting almost, you know, clean 8 kills in a row, maybe losing 1 member. But they are doing it right now. They are just thriving in these chaotic maps. They know how to cover each other's angles. They know how to preserve their life. But Gunny, when you are hitting shots like that, he is 5-0. Unfortunately, he does get taken down by Cal. But Yajay, he is there for the trade. And right now, oh my goodness, it just seems like the side of Lurk Blue, they're not missing many shots.
Yeah, Lurk Blue said, hey, you know what? We were starting off slow a little bit early in the first hard point in the S&D. You know, we kept things close and spicy, but this one, our confidence is there. We know what we're doing. We took the S&D, the hard point, well, and just another map for us. Just another day of the office.
Yeah, exactly. And Lurk Blue, I mean, over 100-point lead, and it's just the second set of rotations. Finally, it will be Team KGK that ends up getting a few kills, but Lurk Blue, they're putting in the work right now, and I'm curious to see how their comms are going. So let's get into a listen in with Lurk Blue.
Oh, he hit top, I don't see anything creek right now. I'm pushing through. I'm challenge time. Somewhere tools. Silo right now. Bottom tunnel.
Tank, comment.
Yo, stay down. I'm watching your. I got your tree.
It's front door. Front doors right now. He's
I'm have some time.
I couldn't jump up. Z going bottom right now. Z going bottom one.
We can rotate.
Looking for Cal. Cal's bottom one.
I killed him.
Alright, nice. I'm holding right.
Looking gate.
Over creek.
Bomb grenades.
Back castle.
I got the guy.
Needed overtime. I got back silo still.
Oh, outer. Oh, outer got piss on. Oh, 1 bullet. Holy shit.
Back castle. I got one on the back. Nice.
Alright, I'm hitting out.
Back tree. Oh my god.
Good job. I don't see anything big door right now.
Back at it. I mean, you can hear it in their voices. They're confident. They know they are running away with this map, and for right now, it doesn't really seem like they have a doubt in their mind that they are going to be taking this one. Certainly, KGK are not out of it yet, but they have got to start putting something together. They're over 100 points down. I mean, the slaying power, it just not been there. You got Huncho at 7 and 18. Like, this is a map where you need to be stepping up. You need to be getting those kills, and they're just not doing it. The P1 second set of rotations coming on in. I mean, it's just Lurk Blue. They're 100 points away from a victory.
Yeah, and right now the one thing that I absolutely was impressed by was Zapio, and they had a little bit of small talk and Zapio, he clearly was the in-game leader. Schizo, he may be the captain, but Zapio, he was the one calling everything out. He knew exactly what he was going to be doing, even had a little bit of small talk. Yeah, there was a little bit of dead air from a few players, but Zapio, you could definitely tell he was the one leading the charge, giving the call outs, and that's exactly what you want to see right now, and it is showing in the comms because they are winning by 130 points. They just want to close this game out as fast as they can.
And there we go, a little bit of a glide bomb, but I mean, Lurk Blue, they're going to be unfazed by it. They're able to just sort of, like a crowd of cockroaches, just able to just disperse and then immediately retake that space. But eventually KGK starting to break on into it, trying to stop the bleeding, at least slow it down, get some points on the board. You want them to cross that 100-point mark for them. Huncho trying to get those long shots in, can't quite get it done, but his teammate's going to do it for him. But I mean, Lurk Blue, they're already set up on the next hill. They're going, hey, you guys are going to have the P2. You know, sure, it's a decent amount of time, but I mean, we have the lead. We can afford to give up some time. If we have a good next hill, we have a good next hole.
Yeah, and you can see, I think on this map, you don't necessarily need to rotate at about 20-25 seconds, which Lurk Blue did. Yeah, you're giving them 20 seconds of scrap, and they feel very confident they have the lead and they want to get in this setup, but sometimes I think that might be even a little bit too early on this map, which, you know, I mean, it feels weird saying, hey, don't rotate too early, but it kind of felt like that in some instances because right away, KGK, they broke on in, but once again, it is Schizo. He ends up finding a double. Gunny finds the third. Cal, he was the only one to be able to stop the bleeding, but right now, Lurk Blue, they immediately broke back into the hill. They have the spawns. Honcho, he finally breaks double-digit kills, but he gets taken down immediately. Cal, the pre-fire is in by Gunny. He thinks Puzzle was going to be there a second too soon, but right now, Lurk Blue, they're only 30 points away from closing out this map 3.
I mean, it can't be had on this one. The next hill's the possibilities where Lurk comes on in to take the win and kind of moving over ahead. KGK, I mean, they've been in this position before. They got locked out of this hill last time around. I mean, they got locked out of a lot of hills, but this one in particular they did. But they had some of the rotation, some of the presence over the next hill. Zapio trying to get that beam onto the second. Doesn't quite happen there. And it's going to be KGK holding on for dear life on this hill. Can they do it? Can they go the distance? I mean, Lurk Blue, they are not that far behind from a victory at this point. I mean, they're at 229, and now they're trying to get some control. Pressure is broken. KGK, their defensive hold is starting to fade away.
Yeah, and the one thing I like there on that break, 3 members went down, but it was Yajay on that outside tank. He didn't try to push on in and try to break that hill solo. He was just trying to find that lone pick in the back to just allow the other, to make that other team look back and try to focus on him instead of his teammates coming on in and punching through the front. KGK, they're still trying to hold, but it's only 8 seconds away. Essentially, if you want to win this game for KGK, you have to win literally every single gunfight. And Lurk Blue, can they do it on this map? There needs to be one more contestant. Oh, it does come on in for the last second. The rotation is there, though, and Lurk Blue, they close out this series in a 3-0 fashion. Granted, it was not easy on maps 1 and 2, but gosh, on the Bocage, they absolutely put a stomp into KGK.
Are these the same players that we saw before? Like, I mean, like, KGK, did you get some other people to sub in that aren't as good as you? I mean, like, what is going on? Like, it was 250 to 118. Like, this map going into it, things were so very close, but Lurk Blue were just like, no, we're done. We're not playing anymore. It's really what that was. We are done playing. We don't want to be put in these tense, tough situations. We are just going to take it and just run away with it.
Yeah, Lurk Blue, you could tell every game that progressed, yeah, the first 2 were really close, but once again, just as this series progressed, they were the ones making adjustments, and KGK, they were the ones who are still kind of stuck there. So Lurk Blue, you can clearly tell they know how to adjust their game style to who they are playing, and it showed 100% on that map 3. There's some machine guns were absolutely running away with it. Jay, he ended up picking up, and like we said earlier, some of these teams, they start off slow on those map 1s, and they start to pick it up map 2 or at the end of map 2, and they absolutely were fire in map 3. But, I mean, congratulations to Lurk Blue taking that 3-0, because it could have gone either way for those first 2 maps.
Yeah, it definitely could have there, but congratulations to Lurk Blue taking the 3-0. I mean, absolutely phenomenal series. I mean, you see the scoreline, just glancing on into it, and just now you see it 3-0, and it's like, oh yeah, a 3-0. But no, it was a really close and good game, like what we were saying at the end of the last map. Like the difference of a few gunfights here and there, a second here and there, like these are the difference makers in this series.
Yeah, and once again, it's some of those individual gunfights, those individual plays, those 1v3s, almost 1v4s coming on in with a lot of those players. It was great stuff from both teams, but Blue, they had the edge. You could tell the chemistry was there. Yeah, they started off slow, but they definitely picked it up the later it went on. KGK, they absolutely played out of their minds too. It's not the fact that they're not a well-oiled machine. It just seems like they maybe had a few slip-ups and potential in-game situations that you got to tweak or adjust. You got to go back, look at the VOD, look at the mini-map. Hey, see, hey, this is where we went wrong. But before we end this stream, let's give a quick recap of what happened. So in that map 1 Berlin, it was the side of KGK. They started off extremely hot. They were up 150 to 80 at the first set of rotations, and then Lurk Blue, they ended up coming back and closing out a very close on that third set of rotations. P1, they closed it out 250 to 234. And then we went to Bocage S&D. Once again, it was KGK who started off hot. They were up 5-3. And then Lurk Blue, they just somehow clawed their way back to the top, took it in the round 11, and took it in that 6-5. And then we stayed on Bocage, hardpoint. And after that, I think, losing a close hardpoint map, being up by 70, 80 points, and then losing an S&D when you're up 3 rounds. Going into a map 3, you got to think for KGK, their morale was low, and it kind of showed in that map 3 where it seemed a little lackluster, a little discombobulated. Maybe they had, thrown in the towel at that point, but Lurk Blue, they definitely did not. They had all the momentum, and they closed out about 250 to 120, so congrats to them.
Yes, and before we head on out, I would like to say a huge thank you to our partners over here at K7, making this league possible both in the past and now. As again, we're still early in the season, and this is day 2. What do we got in store for the rest of the season? I don't know, but you better be tuning into that. But again, thank you to our partners here. We got Get Good Host providing league solutions and stream and recording stats. I mean, I've used it. I think of a lot of other leagues and teams have used it. If you don't use them, you don't know them. I don't know what you're doing. We also got Innovative Gear here, who are providing many years of merch, and specifically for K7 as well. They have some merch with them, and got Glitch Energy. A little energy drink. I mean, you know what? That's what Lurk must have had in that last map. They weren't on it before. They just took some, and they're just like, we're ready now.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the last one is Killer Jerky, providing, that mid-game snack, especially jerky. And they have so many different types of flavors. They're absolutely phenomenal. I suggest you go and check them out. But here, we're going to be signing off from the K7 COD League. And that one guy, I seriously appreciate you, coming on in and us casting it, because I believe this is the first time we have casted it together, but we have talked, many times over Discord, and it finally feels good to be able to meet you and cast with you in person. So everybody, make sure you go and check out his individual stream. I believe it's That One Guy, right? It's just That One Guy for Twitch and all of his socials. So
you gotta add the TG at the end.
That One Guy TG. Thank you. That One Guy TG. Make sure you guys go out and check out his channel. It's absolutely incredible. And once again, I seriously appreciate you coming on in and casting with me.
Yes, and be sure to tune in tomorrow, because we got Final Strike versus CTC Gold. 2 rosters that I think are absolutely phenomenal. CTC in the power rankings, I think, a little bit lower than I personally would have put them, but they should be a good matchup tomorrow. So if you're looking for something to watch tomorrow, make sure to check that one out at 9:30 p.m. BST.
Absolutely. Make sure you tune on in for that match tomorrow. Once again, guys, my name is Graph the Draft, also known as Dak737, signing off here with that one guy, and we'll see you next time.
They pull off the upset somehow, some way, complete the greatest comeback on checkmate. The Kaiser now down to a 1v1. Joe! Oh! They're going for the knife. They're going for the knife! I don't know if Natural Town are going to be able to get this going. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Valiant Gaming are going to be crowned your champions of the K7 League. Folks, welcome to K7.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you lost, oh, I will take your hand and we'll rise up from the dust. Oh,
First kill there by Kilt. The frags rolled on the second is going to be big. Rejects is there. Now Dassin trying to make a play. Will go for one. Tries to pre-fire onto the second from behind. Here comes Atomic for two.
this is what we know. Here we come back to life, still breathing, standing up, everybody's gonna see it. Oh, all you need to know is that we're holding on. Even if we fall, we will rise up and we follow the path that we believe in. No, we're not gonna
Hello and welcome everybody. I'm Shifty here, joined by Alex McCormish. Hey, are you ready for this?
It's time, baby. Kill it back to the middle of the map. Rejects in the slide out. Goes in. Lays people out, especially with the Atomic on it. Hawaii on the staircase. Actually, they get killed by a reject there. You already see Killa back over towards the top house by P2.